Hi all, this is May and welcome back to my channel for a brand new speed build. So today I'm building a home split into an apartment and a tattoo studio using the early access version of The Sims 4 Businesses and Hobbies expansion pack coming out on March 6th. So thank you to the EA Creative Network for inviting me to this early access opportunity so that I could try it out and make this build for you all. And since this is an early access version, I have to mention that this is not the finalized version of the pack. There might be a few changes in the pack at release, and I'm only using base game and the Businesses and Hobbies pack for this build because we only had access to those two packs in this version. And that's also why you're going to see my username floating around in the video here. It's because it is the early access version. And quickly before I get into talking more about the pack and the build here, I want to mention that I do have a creator code you can use if you're planning on getting this expansion pack or any other Sims 4 packs in general. So promo code HoneyMay can be used at checkout in the EA app or through the official thesims.com website. It's unfortunately not a discount code, but it will provide me with a percentage of the purchase and support me and the channel. So yeah, just a shameless little plug there before we get into the build here. So we are building in the new world of Nordhaven today. And this is a world that is, from my knowledge, inspired by Nordic countries, I think, the Netherlands too, and there are some other European influences as well. I am particularly excited about this new world because if you didn't know, I am from Norway, which is a part of the Nordic countries, Scandinavia, and I can definitely see the Scandinavian influences in this world with, you know, its tall mountains in the background, which Norway is pretty famous for, and there are like these canals and some of these older looking buildings. We also have the neighborhoods Gammelvik and Iverstad, which are both very Scandinavian sounding as well. So yeah, I'm excited about having a world in The Sims 4 that is inspired by where I am from. And it's cool to see how they have mixed different influences like architecture styles. There are some of these more modern builds with some rustic brick buildings and older looking buildings that I just mentioned. I'm not too sure how to describe them or what specific kind of name they have, but you'll find them around in some fortified cities or old towns here in Scandinavia, for example in Stockholm, or yeah, they're a bit similar to some you would probably find in Copenhagen and Amsterdam as well. And today's build I'm doing in the neighborhood of Iverstad. The description of this one is that it was originally an industrial district of the city, and it's now turned into this natural settling spot for ambitious and stylish Sims. And many of the old factories you'll find here have been repurposed as living spaces and commercial lots and extensive terrains that have recently been made available for new developments. I do know that there is an empty 50 by 40 lot here, and there is kind of this like rundown, or perhaps the more appropriate description is that it's a build in progress, so it's not finished, which I think is a really cool concept. I don't think we've seen that in any of the other worlds in The Sims before. And we did have some Simmers, content creators, who were a part of building the builds for this pack. And one of them is Johanna Builds, who I know very well. She is one of my friends and she is from Finland. And I was just like so excited to see that she made some of the builds for this pack. And I'm so proud of her for getting this opportunity. So if you haven't checked out Johanna Builds already, please make sure to do so. You will find her on Instagram, Twitch, and she's also been doing some YouTube speed builds as of recent as well. And the other ones who have made the lots are Eva Rotke, Kelly Hart X, and Lyrene35. So yeah, they brought life to the world of Nordhaven with their builds, and if I'm not mistaken, there are in total 12 lots here that you can build on. And one of the newest lot types is the small business one. And you can now have a business at your home a lot as well, so a small business residential. And this is something I've been waiting for a while, and a lot of other people have been asking for this as well. But unfortunately, if you do own the for rent pack, you won't be able to do multiple apartments with the small business lot type, since that one and the residential rental ones are two different lot types, which kind of did bum me out. I was hoping that would be possible because it's quite realistic to have multiple apartments, not just one, on top of a store or like a commercial area in, like towns and areas like that. But yeah, we are doing a small business residential a lot today. There will be a tattoo studio at the bottom floor and an apartment on the second floor. This isn't the biggest building, so it is a bit crowded, I have to say, but I tried my best with the space that I had. I am building on a 20 by 15 lot, so that is the smallest one we have in the game. And we are getting 3 new hobbies in this pack, which are tattooing and pottery, and I would say candy making as well, because there is like a little machine you can use to make candy. I'm not too sure like how many different variants there are, but 2 to 3 hobbies honestly feels very little in terms of like the pack literally being called Businesses and Hobbies. I like some of the other translated versions better for the pack title, if I'm gonna be honest, like from hobby to business or something like that. I have heard the pack has been translated to in other languages, so I kind of like that better. Yeah, I wish they could have gone for a better title in English, or maybe that's just me. But yeah, maybe something a bit more statement-ish, I guess. But what I do like about this pack though is that there are cross-pack features or functionality. Like if you have cats and dogs, for example, you can make and own a pet cafe. If you have spa day, you can own a spa or a yoga studio or like a nail salon, anything like that. Or you can own a daycare, for example, as well. So there's a lot of different things you can do. And the daycare one I know you can do because there are these employee tasks that you can assign to employees, and I saw one of them being like take care of the little ones. That was one of the tasks. So infants and toddlers, and yeah, so I feel like there are a lot of different things you can make into a business if you would like, and more than what you'll be able to do with the get to work pack and the retail store lot. Even though arguably they are pretty similar in a way that you can own a business, though I feel like you can customize more with the new system. And I do understand that not everyone likes the fact that we are once again getting businesses in the game with like a new systems. I do get that. So I've seen a lot of mixed feelings about this pack, but honestly, I am liking it so far at least. And I'm just really excited about making more businesses and assign or like make my Sims own businesses. As you probably have seen while I've been building here, there is a sim out front here, and I did make a sim self, and I had to try out the CAS items or the created Sims assets as well, and I quite like the diversity of the clothing coming with this pack. You can definitely tell the quality is much better now than what it used to be like 10 years ago when The Sims 4 had just come out, which I find is kind of a bummer that it's taken this long to get to this quality. I wish it would have been like that from the start, because you can definitely see the difference, like I just said. I'm just hoping The Sims will continue to refresh packs, because we did get a spa day refresh once and that was it, even if it was promised that we would get more of those. So I'd love to see the return of pack refreshes, because I loved what we got in the spa day update. Especially island living would be nice to have a refresh for, so that we could have extra stuff for mermaids, for example, like they could have their own skill tree. That would be amazing, especially now that every other occult has their own skill tree as well. And I'm not an occult gameplay person myself, but I would be happy for everyone who is and has been wanting more stuff for mermaids to kind of make their gameplay more fleshed out and everything. For today's build though, I wanted to go for a bit of a modern/industrial vibe. So I'm using a lot of the new wall textures here. There are these 2 like different wall panels that I absolutely love, and they're just very Scandinavian, I would say. Then I mix this one with a darker stone and some brick walls, and I love these new ones, very pretty. I would say I've made a simple modern exterior here, the landscaping as well. I've tried to make it or keep it minimalistic. So I've done this trick I've done a couple of times before in my speed builds or for my builds. out front here with the quarter tiles. So I mixed this concrete with a grass flooring, and you can access the quarter tiles by pressing Ctrl and F on your keyboard if you're on a Windows PC. So pretty simple, but it's difficult to know all of those like different shortcuts, which does remind me I do have a couple of different shorts up on my channel with various tutorials and shortcuts as well. So if that's of any interest, you will find it there. And yeah, I made a small side yard here for the build using some of the new items from the pack, such as the table, chairs, umbrella, and a couple of these new garden pots that you can make doing the pottery in the game. So I've accessed them through cheats to get to the debug mode. And there are a few different versions of that one with different glazes because you can do that as well. So all of the pottery has different glazes. And yes, that's pretty much all of the outside, I would say, nothing too special. I did add a staircase in the back as well from the apartment at the second floor and down to the backyard, or side yard rather. And I just like that detail, so I decided to add it. And I have to say, I love the new staircase we got. It's very modern and totally something you would see in a newer modern Scandinavian home. So we got a couple of new floors. There is a new wooden one, which I love. And there are some new tiles and like these concrete looking ones. And there is one with a pattern that I quite enjoy, so you will see that in the build as well. I think the build and buy in this pack is phenomenal. It's totally my style, like modern, Scandi, even like IKEA-esque if you will. So you can see me using the new windows and doors here as well, and at the front of the house, above the entry door for example, I did put two different versions of the windows to fill in the entire wall, because the big one doesn't go all the way up, so I just decided to kind of layer them on top of each other. And I was really happy when I discovered you could do that, because I was missing something extra at the front of the house here with the windows. And I'm currently working on the interior now, and like I mentioned earlier, there wasn't a lot of space to work with, so the floor plans are, I don't know, maybe not the best, but I thought it was fun to have the big space downstairs for the tattoo studio and then the upstairs as it is now. So we have this kind of open space where the staircase go, and I really wanted to include a hanging TV here, like on the second floor somewhere. And as you'll be seeing, the space by the staircase isn't that big. That's meant to be the living room where I placed down the new fireplace, and I do have to say I go back and forth a lot while decorating this as I was looking through all the new items and trying to figure out the floor plan. I usually do that behind the scenes, but it's a bit more difficult to do that with the early access version because we don't have access to the gallery. So yeah, I had to do all the decorating on the spot, if you will, because I usually decorate, like put in all the items without recording. I save the build to the gallery, take out all the items, and then I hit record while I place everything back in again. And I do that mostly for a smoother experience for you all watching my videos, but it's also so much easier for me to edit afterwards, even though that can be a bit time consuming as well. But I just enjoyed the result a lot more. So yeah, I hope that's okay that I go a bit back and forth. I get very indecisive sometimes. I feel like my brain is all over the place. And I think that kind of shows here. But yeah, back to the living room, like I was just saying. So to fit in that hanging TV I was talking about, I decided to extend that one wall by the staircase, like at the back of it, and place the TV above the stairs. Is that the smartest in real life? I'm not too sure, but I decided to give it a try here. I don't think I've ever done that in a build before, but just to save a bit of space, I thought it worked. I also mess around with the kitchen colors forever. I went from red to blue to cream, and I don't even remember what I ended up with in the end, but maybe I just decided to go for a simple black actually. But yeah, I do know that I ended up with some new tiles in the kitchen, but I don't think I added until like closer to the end of the video. And since I didn't really have the space for it elsewhere, I decided to add in a small desk in the kitchen area and have that as like a study or office space, if you will. And I'm glad to see that we've gotten a new laptop with this pack as well. So it's more sleek and modern, definitely a step up from the other laptops we have gotten previously. I do know the bedroom is quite small here, but I was lucky that I could fit in the new double bed we have gotten. I just placed it up against the wall here, and as usual, both sides of the bed will be functional. You just got to make sure that the first sim going to bed uses the inner spot. I have had a bug recently with that actually, that when the sims sleeping in the inner spot, when they wake up, both of the sims just spawn out of bed, which I think is kind of funny, but at the same time, maybe a tad annoying. So I hope that will be fixed in the future. But yeah, anyway, both spots will be usable, and if I'm correct, there are 3 new dressers coming with this pack. So, well, yeah, one of them is more like a modern clothing rack, which I have been wishing for forever at this point. So it's one of those that you can actually customize with the different clothing on hangers. And we first got introduced to that back when Dream Home Decorator came out, I believe. And then there's been a couple of packs after that that we have had the same thing with different variants of clothing, like on these hangers. So yeah, I end up using that in the bedroom, and I just put like a few clutter items on top of it. I didn't have the space for a bathroom upstairs, so instead I decided to use that one area downstairs by the entry door as the bathroom. Oh, and I nearly forgot, but as you've probably seen from the base game update earlier this week, we now have burglars in the base game. And with that, we got a new like alarm thing. So I'm using that by the entry door downstairs. If you wondered what that was, that is the new burglar's alarm. And I do believe there is a new lot challenge trait as well. So that one makes your lot more of a popular target for burglars, I guess. So if you own like a home or a business with real expensive items in it, that could be a thing or a challenge to add to your gameplay. Also coming with the base game update is an improved tattoo system in Create a Sim. There are like these new body part categories where you can have tattoos, and then with the new pack you'll be able to draw your own tattoos as well. In a similar style, you can paint cats, dogs, and horses. And from what I know, you'll be able to share tattoos on the gallery as well, which I have to be honest, I'm a bit hesitant to that, mostly because of the moderation, and you never know what people are going to upload. So I do hope that the Sims team has some moderation protocols in order to prevent, offensive things being uploaded, because I do have a feeling someone is going to like test the boundaries a bit regarding that. So yeah, you'll also be able to see a tattoo section now on the gallery that you can filter by. As for the tattooing studio downstairs, it is pretty simple. I add in the new tattooing bench. There is this gorgeous, very slim plant item that I just felt like fit in here very well. There's basically just new stuff in here. There's like a sitting bench, the fireplace, once again, I wanted to add down here. This new divider is perfect. There's also another divider as well, but it was a bit too big for the space, but I hope I'm able to use that later in some other builds. There is also this new wall mounted plant that I absolutely love. I'm a big fan of hanging plants and wall mounted ones in the game, so I'm glad we got one more with this pack. I thought an extra separate toilet would be needed here just in case, seeing as the other bathroom will be private, like more meant for the residential part. And that actually reminds me, I've totally forgotten to say that you can actually assign rooms to be either residential, public, or for employees now. In the same manner, you can assign units to residential rental lots in the for rent pack. So that's handy for like separating spaces if you have a business on the same lot as where you live, or if you want separate spaces for customers and employees on like a regular small business lot. And I've just been babbling on about everything. But yeah, other than that, I'm just finishing up the build here and we'll soon head into the screenshots. So that's basically it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content in the future. If you want to be notified of when I upload a video next, make sure to click the bell icon too. This build is playtested and it will be up on my gallery as soon as I'm able to. My ID is honeymaysims, or you can find me with the hashtag honeymaysims as well. You will also be able to grab the tray files in the description once I get the tray files. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me today as we made this apartment and tattoo studio, and I can't wait to talk to you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye!